Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a truth that is as old as time. Money without discipline will disappear. It's not the amount that matters. It's the management. It's not the fortune that counts. It's the foundation. Because if you give a person with poor habits $1 million, they'll soon be broke again. But if you give a disciplined person $10, they'll find a way to multiply it. Money has a strange personality. It doesn't like chaos. It doesn't stay where it's not respected. It flees from carelessness and hides from waste. It's like a guest that only stays in clean rooms. The rooms of discipline, planning, and responsibility. We've all heard stories of lottery winners who gained millions and lost everything in a few short years. Why? Because their income grew, but their discipline didn't. Their lifestyle expanded faster than their wisdom. They bought what looked good before they built what would last. You see, discipline is the bridge between earning and keeping. Earning is an event. Keeping is a process. You can earn once, but you keep every day. And that requires rules, order, and self-control. If you don't master money, money will master you. It will control your thoughts, dictate your actions, and drain your peace. But when discipline becomes your habit, money becomes your servant, quietly working in the background, growing, multiplying, compounding, and freeing you from stress. Discipline in finances means you have a plan. You save before you spend. You invest before you impress. You measure before you manage. You don't let your emotions spend what your wisdom should protect. So ask yourself, what are your spending habits saying about your values? Because every coin that leaves your hand is a message about your priorities. Do you spend to feel better now, or do you spend to live better later? Money is a tool, not a trophy. Use it wisely, and it builds. Use it foolishly, and it burns. Remember, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep and how well it grows. Build the discipline first, and money will follow you like a shadow. Lose the discipline, and even the shadow disappears. Wealth does not begin with money. It begins with discipline. You can give two people the same income, the same job, and the same opportunities. Yet, a few years later, one will be financially stable while the other is struggling to survive. The difference: it's not luck, it's not opportunity, it's not even intelligence, it's discipline. Discipline is the invisible hand that builds visible success. It's the quiet force that decides whether you'll plant your seeds or eat them. It's not glamorous, and it doesn't shout for attention, but it works behind the scenes every single day, shaping habits, creating order, and building foundations that money alone can never buy. Many people chase money hoping it will bring them freedom. But money without discipline becomes a new form of slavery. You end up working harder, earning more, and still feeling broke. Because freedom doesn't come from income, it comes from control. The ability to control your choices, your habits, and your spending. That control is called discipline. Discipline is what separates the spender from the investor, the dreamer from the doer, and the poor mindset from the prosperous one. It's the reason some people grow steadily while others collapse under the weight of their own desires. You see, it's not hard to make money once. The challenge is keeping it, managing it, and growing it. And that takes consistency, patience, and the courage to say no when everyone else is saying yes. Think about the farmer. He doesn't eat all the grain after the harvest. He saves some to plant again. That's discipline. The moment he decides to consume everything, he destroys his future harvests. The same is true in your financial life. Every time you earn, you must choose between consumption and cultivation. Will you consume everything now, or will you cultivate your future? The answer determines your destiny. Discipline teaches you to respect money. When you respect it, you manage it. You give every dollar a purpose. You tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Without discipline, money slips away like water through open fingers. But when discipline steps in, every drop is collected, directed, and multiplied. Wealth is not about having more. It's about managing what you have better. A person with $100,000 in discipline can do more than someone with the $10,000 in carelessness. Because wealth is not a number, it's a method. It's a system, a structure built on daily choices that compound over time. Discipline also builds character, and character sustains success. Many people can handle poverty, but few can handle prosperity. Because when money grows, temptations grow too. More options, more distractions, more chances to waste. Without discipline, what was once a blessing quickly becomes a burden. That's why discipline must come first. It's the training ground for wealth. Now, discipline is not punishment. It's preparation. It's the decision to take control of your future instead of being controlled by circumstances. It's waking up early, planning your spending, saving before spending, investing before celebrating. Discipline asks for effort today, but gives peace tomorrow. It's the price of freedom. but it's worth every cent. Think of every small financial act as a seed of discipline. When you choose to save instead of splurge, you plant security. When you invest instead of impulse buy, you plant opportunity. When you budget instead of guess, you plant clarity. Over time, these seeds grow into a forest of wealth, not because you were lucky, but because you were loyal to the process. And here's the truth: discipline doesn't care how much you earn, it cares how much you manage. Whether you have 100 or 100,000, the rule is the same. Manage it well, and it will multiply. Neglect it, and it will vanish. So start today. Don't wait for more money to become disciplined. Become disciplined to have more money. Set a budget. Track your spending. Save a portion of every income. Invest regularly, even if it's small. Be the master, not the servant of your habits. Because at the end of the day, money responds to discipline the way a tree responds to sunlight. It grows toward it. Remember, discipline is the foundation of wealth. Without it, success is temporary. With it, even small beginnings can turn into lasting prosperity. Build the discipline first, and wealth will have no choice but to follow. Money is a disciplined guest. It visits where there's order and quickly leaves where there's chaos. It doesn't stay with those who spend emotionally, impulsively, or randomly. It settles with those who plan, who track, and who treat it with respect. Because, simply put, money follows order. You can earn all you want, but if there is no order in your financial life, your income will evaporate like steam. Disorder is the silent thief of prosperity. You can work hard all month, get paid on Friday, and wonder by the next week where it all went. That's not a mystery. It's a lack of a system. Money behaves like water. If you pour water on the ground without a container, it spreads, seeps, and disappears. But if you channel it through a pipe, it flows in the direction you choose. Order is that pipe. Budgeting, saving, and tracking are the channels that keep your financial flow from turning into a flood of waste. Let's start with budgeting. A budget is not a cage. It's a compass. It doesn't restrict your freedom. It directs it. It tells your money where to go instead of leaving you wondering where it went. When you sit down each month and assign a purpose to every dollar, you are taking command of your resources. You're no longer a victim of your impulses. You're a steward of your potential. A budget reveals your values. It shows whether you're investing in your growth or spending for your comfort. It forces you to face the truth about your habits. And truth is the first step to transformation. Order begins when you stop guessing and start planning. Then comes saving. Saving is not just an act, it's an attitude. It's a way of saying, I honor my future as much as I enjoy my present. When you save, you create breathing room. You buy peace of mind. You give yourself the power to make decisions without desperation. People who don't save are always one crisis away from chaos because they have no cushion between life and survival. Savings are like the roots of a tree, invisible but essential. You don't notice them when times are good, but when storms come, they keep you standing. And storms always come. An emergency, a job change, a medical bill, a dry season. Saving turns those storms from disasters into inconveniences. The third pillar of order is tracking. What gets measured gets managed. You can't improve what you ignore. Tracking your spending is like checking your compass while sailing. It keeps you on course. When you know where your money goes, you gain clarity, and clarity brings control. Every receipt, every expense, every small purchase. They all tell a story. You must know that story. Tracking builds awareness. Awareness builds accountability. And accountability builds growth. Many people fear looking at their expenses because they don't want to face the truth. But avoiding the truth never changes it. You either manage your money with attention, or your money will manage you with anxiety. Order is not about perfection, it's about intention. You won't get everything right the first time. You might overspend, forget to log, or fall short of your goals. That's fine. Order is a process, not an event. The goal is not to be flawless. The goal is to be faithful. A little order practiced daily will do more for your wealth than chaos managed occasionally. Money has a strange respect for structure. It multiplies where it's managed and disappears where it's dismissed. That's why some people with modest incomes live in abundance while others with high salaries live in constant pressure. The difference is not earnings, it's order. Think of your finances as a garden. If you plant seeds randomly, some may grow, but most will die. But if you plan your rows, water them regularly, and clear the weeds, you'll have a harvest. That's what budgeting, saving, and tracking do. They turn your financial garden into a harvest field. And remember, money is not emotional, people are. Money obeys rules. It rewards structure, patience, and direction. If you give it a plan, it will perform. If you give it chaos, it will vanish. So if you want to attract and keep wealth, don't chase money. Build order, create systems, set up your budget, automate your savings, track your progress weekly. Let your bank account reflect your discipline, not your desires. Because wealth doesn't happen by accident, it happens by arrangement. In the end, money follows order. It stays where it is respected, managed, and measured. If you build the systems will build your wealth. And once order becomes your habit, prosperity will become your companion. Money and emotion, a powerful but dangerous combination. When emotion enters your wallet, reason usually exits. Most people don't lose their financial stability because they lack income. They lose it because they let feelings make decisions that should be made by principles. Emotions are wonderful when used for love, creativity, and passion, but disastrous when used for financial choices. The moment you start spending to feel better, you begin walking down a path that leads to regret. Because emotional spending is never about the item, it's about the feeling. And feelings fade faster than bills disappear. Think about it, you've had those moments when you felt low, tired, or frustrated, and something inside whispered, you deserve this. So you bought it. Maybe it was an expensive dinner, a new gadget, or a weekend trip you couldn't afford, and for a brief moment it worked. You felt better. But a few days later, when the credit card bill arrived or your balance dropped, that good feeling turned into guilt. That's the trap. Emotion gives instant pleasure, but long-term pain. Discipline gives short-term restraint, but long-term peace. Most people trade peace for pleasure and then wonder why they feel stuck financially. Money requires logic, not mood. You can't make financial decisions in the same emotional state that made you broke. Feelings fluctuate like the weather. Some days you're up, some days you're down. But principles don't change. Principles protect. When you live by principle instead of impulse, your money becomes stable even if your emotions aren't. There's nothing wrong with enjoying what you earn. The problem starts when enjoyment becomes escape. Many people use spending as medicine for emotions. They shop to forget, to feel alive, to prove something, or to fill a void. But money is a terrible therapist. It doesn't heal the root, it only hides the wound. Here's a simple truth: emotional spending is self-sabotage disguised as self-care. It tells you, you deserve it, but what you really deserve is financial peace, not pressure. You deserve stability, not stress. You deserve freedom, not fear. But emotions are impatient. They want satisfaction now. Discipline says, not now, but soon, and for longer. Let's be honest. Advertisers know this game well. Every marketing campaign is designed to speak to your emotions. You're worth it. Don't wait. Buy now. Treat yourself. They study your psychology, not your priorities. Their goal is not your peace, it's your purchase. That's why you must be smarter than your emotions and stronger than their strategies. Before every major purchase, pause. Ask yourself, do I want this or do I need this? Am I buying to grow or to feel good? Will this decision make me proud later or regretful? That moment of reflection creates space between emotion and action. And that space is where wisdom lies. Another truth: emotions are temporary, but consequences are permanent. That 5-minute rush of excitement from buying something fades, but the payments last for months. Every emotional decision carries a logical price tag. The only way to escape that cycle is to let principles make the choices emotions shouldn't. Learn to manage your feelings before you manage your finances. Because money doesn't respond to feelings. It responds to discipline, patience, and order. If your emotions control your spending, your money will control your emotions. You'll always be stressed, chasing the next payday, never at peace. But when you flip that pattern, when you control your emotions, something powerful happens. You take your power back. You no longer need to buy to feel good. You feel good because you're in control. You gain confidence not from possessions, but from progress. There's a deep joy that comes from watching your savings grow, your debts shrink, and your goals move closer. That joy lasts longer than anything money can buy because it comes from self-respect. Every time you say no to an emotional purchase, you say yes to your future. Understand this: emotions are natural, but they need management. You can't eliminate them, but you can train them. Just like an athlete trains the body, you must train your feelings to obey your values, not your moods. The next time you're tempted to spend emotionally, stop and remind yourself, this feeling will pass, but my financial goals remain. Don't let a moment of weakness erase months of progress. In the end, wealth is emotional maturity expressed in numbers. It's the ability to delay pleasure, think long-term, and choose peace over impulse. Emotional spending builds clutter. Disciplined choices build confidence. So guard your wallet with wisdom. Let principles guide your money, not moods. Because every dollar you waste on emotion is a dollar stolen from your dreams. And when you choose discipline over desire, regret will have no place in your financial story.